driven by passion.
Hi, I'm Chris Hagest with Pro Watercraft, and I want to talk to you today about our rear sponson and how they install on the watercraft. Now you'll notice on our website that we have kind of two options. One option is to go the bolt on over the bumper, and the other option is the bolt on under the bumper. Now this is just hardware I'm talking about. Sponson doesn't change. So let's get into this and show you how it installs. So to help explain what the over the bumper hardware is and why, some watercraft like the Yamaha Superjet, you're not changing this outer bumper here. So ideally you want a bolt that's going to go through the bumper and hold on the sponson. So the bolt is going to be exposed. You have a button head bolt with a washer. So that's to give you an idea of what the over the bumper hardware is all about. So you're probably wondering, under the bumper, what does that mean? Am I using stock bumpers or is there aftermarket bumpers? So the idea here is the stock bumpers, you want to go over them. Now if you have aftermarket bumpers, which are quite popular on the SXR, you don't want to put hardware through that. You want to sink in the hardware so it's flush against the ski, and then you stick the aftermarket bumper over it, so you have a nice seamless look. You don't see the hardware. So the hardware for the aftermarket bumper or the under the bumper is a flathead bolt. And what we'll do is we're going to show you how to countersink the bolt so it sits nice and flat on the ski. So I'm going to go through the steps of how to install these sponsons, and this is a basic general kind of install suggestions that you can do on your Kawasaki, your Yamaha, Hagest, whatever ski that you want to install this product on. This is sort of a generic suggestion. So on the Kawasaki, it has 4 holes that are generally in the same place, but not always. So you might have to adjust the holes to get the sponsons to line up. Now the nice thing with our product is we have a little bit of a template here. Now you don't want to drill through this, but it gives you an idea of where the holes lay out here. Now you'll see on our bracket here, our little template I'm calling it right now, that I have more holes in it than the ski has. This is so it fits other skis as well. So you'll look on our website, and in this video we can show it as well, as different holes will fit different skis like the Yamaha, etc. However, all skis, wherever you install this, the front bolt and the rear one must be used. Now there's 5 bolts in this kit, so you pick 5 bolts that'll fit your watercraft. I'm gonna go ahead and install it on this ski and you guys can follow along. So I wanna point one thing out here for you guys. This bracket is gonna go onto the inside there, so it's sandwiching the sponson between the ski. There is a position, this furthest hole here should have a bit of a radius so it rolls into it. You don't want it flipped around. You'll see that it doesn't really work that way because there's 2 holes over here. So you want to definitely make sure that you have this flipped the correct way and not upside down where this still catches. So hopefully this video helps you understand a little bit of how this lays out. We want that to be a smooth transition. So I'm going to start off by getting this underneath here and continue with my install. So this kit doesn't come with any nuts or washers. This plate is tapped for a 6x1 thread, pretty common bolt that's used industry wide. So you'll see that the bolt's gonna thread right into there. So obviously this is your backing nut or backing plate, however you wanna call it. It's gonna go in there. I need to countersink the holes, make sure everything lines up. Feel free to use the drill bit. You know, if your holes aren't in the right position, use the drill bit to work it one way or another to get the hole to perfectly line up. You should not have to force this bolt in the hole. And in fact, I definitely suggest when you get this product, you run a bolt into each hole and make sure it smoothly twists in. You don't want any tension. You know, it shouldn't cross thread on you right away. So if you know that these plates thread in really quickly, when you go to drill, if everything lines up, the bolt should thread in just as easily. So because this is a thin stainless steel plate, it's easy to cross thread and mess up the threads in it. If you do it right, it'll go on perfect. Now I've put this bolt in and it looks like it lines up perfectly, but however I'm trying to tighten it in and it's sort of stopping. Now don't be fooled, you know, the bracket, if you've checked it already and all the bolts run into it, it's probably fine. It's probably the fiberglass pushing up against the bolt, tweaking the bolt to the wrong angle. And that's what happens when you have the bolt the wrong angle. It's easy to just force it in and cross thread it, and that's where you're in trouble. The bolt locks into the bracket, nothing really bolts on fast, and you're frustrated. Avoid those situations. Just don't force it in. Make sure everything goes in really smooth. That's important for sure. So I was struggling on this bolt right here. So I pulled off the sponson, and as you can see, the bolt twisted in perfectly. No tension at all. So I need to open up this hole a little bit so there's no, you know, the angle is proper so the bolt screws right in. So if you're struggling with putting on these sponsons, there's a lot of variables to consider. Sometimes the bolts aren't threaded properly, so there's a little burr at the end. That could cause an issue. Maybe the inside of the bond flange where the sponson is actually resting up against, if there's silicone in there, which it's common to see, or if it's just the hole is in the wrong location and the sponson's slightly on its side and not sitting flush up against the inside, that could cause the bolts not to go in properly. So you want to look at all the variables and make sure that these screw in really smoothly. Super important. Can't stress it enough. All right, so I got all the bolts in, and some of the things I've noticed when we're putting it on is sometimes these backing brackets can have a slight twist to it, which is going to mess with the hole and all the locations. So don't be scared about using a little bit larger drill bit just to make sure that all these go in properly. Again, you know, making sure that you check all the variables. The sponson's flat against the side, the bolts screw into the bracket properly, holes are oversized, checking all of these, making sure if you're going to go for the aftermarket bumper, you don't want the head of the bolt sticking outside of the surface. You might have to countersink the hole a little bit more so the bumper goes over everything smoothly. And I definitely suggest pre-fitting everything, kind of like what I'm doing here. Tighten it all down, make sure it's in the right position for you, and then you can take it off, silicone the backside, put a little Loctite on the bolts, and install it for the final time. Now, you'll see on this ski that there's a gap between the sponson and the bottom of the ski, and this is intended to fit with like stock bumpers or other skis as well. So it's not going to affect the handling. It does affect a little bit of the fitment, but it's nothing to be worried about. Once you have it all tight, checked, silicone, Loctited, then you can reinstall your bumper. We also sell this aftermarket bumper as well. Helps the handling, makes the whole system look seamless. You know, you don't see any hardware, it's nice and clean, it's a nice finish. However, if you have the stock bumpers, again, we have different hardware that goes over the bumpers with washers that makes it just as nice. So we get a lot of questions about what is over the bumper and under the bumper. What we're trying to explain here is the type of hardware that'll work with your ski. So an over the bumper, or for the stock bumpers, it's a button head bolt again. So you could also use that same button head bolt to go through your aftermarket bumpers. So it's up to you on how do you want to make these products fit to your skis. Once you get the product, look at everything, watch this video, watch it again. Just, you don't want to make a mistake and strip out or damage the bracket that we've sent with the product. You take your time, you get it on the ski, and they're going to work flawlessly, and you're going to love the product you get from ProWatercraftRacing.com.
Stay up to date on everything we're doing. Follow us on Facebook, ProWatercraftRacing.com, and of course you'll find us on the web at the same location, www.ProWatercraftRacing.com. And while you're here, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day.